Well, I'm just looking for a project car, so I bought this Range Rover Storm Edition a little while ago. Quick rundown of the vehicle as it by way of introduction. It's a 2009 model with about 124 some odd thousand miles on it. Like I say, the Storm Edition, so it's got all the nice bumpers, exhaust and all that sort of stuff. Reasonably rare nowadays, so like the HST kit on it. Yeah, it's quite a nice sort of thing. So we did new bags. You can see I write on them. And I do those 13th of July last year. So new bags all round. Yeah, out on there, see. And the fronts as well, just for good measure. New bags. Did new calipers. We did new pipes for the calipers. We did new ABS pump. We did new master cylinder. Everything really, because we had a real problem with the brakes. So moving on and talking about brakes, what we have here is developed a bit of a brake light issue. So the brake light came on, thought, okay, what's going on with this? Is it an knackered sensor or whatever? No, it's not. So what it turned out to be was this thing, and this is common on these Range Rover Sports. See up in there, you see up in there with the bloody torch is going to be any good. I'll put the other torch down somewhere. Oh, well, persevere. So, up in there, he says we can quite see it. Well, you can see it's literally peeing out of brake fluid, right? So it starts as a weep. You see that now? Ah, sod of dog. Right, so it starts as a weep, and it's this bit here. You can see it coming out of there, look, see? So, how do you fix it? Quite simply, you can take it to a mechanic, someone like me, and it'll cost you a fair bit of money because there's a little bit of labour involved. Copper's reasonably cheap, but yeah, it's a pain in the butt to do. So some people won't want to do it, some people will. Essentially what you've got to do is see this bit of coily wire, copper wire, just feed it through from there, right? Firstly, just feed it through. You want to come all the way under here. You just follow, this is if I can not get dripped on. You just follow the existing brake line, okay, and there's clips. So you follow it through roughly first, right? So you get it down here, and this is going to be your joining point. So you've got there, front of the car, back of the car, exhaust pipe, easy to do, bend it down, yeah? And it's this one here that we're interested in because I've slacked off the clips. So once you get to that point, then you go back the way and you start shaping it. So you bend it. You bend it around that bit because that's a pain. You don't want anything to touch the body because it'll wear through, and MOT people don't like that. Yeah, go up there, look, see, and you clip it in as you go back. You clip it in to the clips. Sometimes the brakes, so have a few of them clips handy. Buy them from the Land Rover supplier off eBay, whatever you want. They're genuine Land Rover ones, of course. And you keep going back and you keep feeding around. Now, when you get to the hard to reach areas, this trim tool is your friend because you can stick it in. You can stick it in, right? And you can hold it and then you can bend it, see? And that you can twist it and you can get the bends in there like that. See that on there, look? You can get it around there. It's not a sharp a bend, but it doesn't need to be as long as it doesn't touch. We've got it down on the lift now. And you can see what I've managed to do in there is pretty, oopsie daisy, come on little fella. Get it focused in. Now it's always the way with these bloody iPhone camera things. Should invest in the proper one. Anyway. Right, so see that? How we've kind of managed to follow pretty much anyway the bend on there and on there. You can see it's not touching the bodywork. You got the bend in there as per the other one. You got the bend in there. So now we're coming out of here. What we're going to do is we're going to have to cut it, and then we're going to have to bend it round a little bit and get some idea of how long it needs to be. Doesn't want to touch this or this. If you get it too short, it's going to stretch it and cause problems, so it needs to be pretty accurate. We've slackened that one off there, so it's broken off. It just does, but that's fine. Leave it in there just to keep everything clean until we've decided what we're doing with this, made the fitting for it, put it on, and then put it together. Then we can put it in. And what I'll do in a minute, I'll show you how we do that. First thing before I do is we slide the fitting on, then we flare the end. Yeah, always remember, put the fitting on first, then flare the end. Otherwise, you can flare the end and go, oh crap, I haven't got the fitting on. It's mostly when you're making them off the car, you have to remember to do it, but on the car, it's pretty obvious. You slide your fitting on, and it's always going to be threaded end facing you in this orientation, because we bend it around, the threaded ends going in. So yeah, that's how you do that. Also, while I'm on doing this, you can see it's still dripping out down the bottom. You just have to be a bit careful of that, because we don't want it to run out of the master cylinder. If it gets too low and we get air in the master cylinder, we've got all that to bleed as well, and that's just a chew on. So you can either try and do it quickly, or another thing you can do is you can just crimp the wire before the leak, yeah, which is probably the most sensible idea. So I think we'll do that as well. Just don't know if we're going to have an issue with this before we end up running out of fluid. So we'll crimp the wire, crimp the pipe, cut it, crimp it, and then it should be at least slowing down the leak rather than it being all over the floor. So while we're doing this job, it's always wise to check when you've got a bit of brake fluid coming out that you haven't lost too much. Now, I've already topped this up previously. When I noticed the leak, pop some in, and then it's Saturday now, so I've just got the chance to do it. So yeah, you can see the maximum there. It's a little bit off the maximum, then below the minimum. So we've got plenty in there. We don't need to top it up at the moment since it's just coming out. As long as we don't go below minimum, we're all right. We've put a pipe on it underneath, and I'll show you that in a minute, which has hopefully stopped the flow. I put it on initially, it didn't work as well. We were mentioning about crimping these pipes. Didn't go to plan. I crimped it over, basically bent it around with pliers, whacked it with a hammer to flatten it off, and it was still leaking out, so that wasn't any good. However, now we've got this bar open. So this was a brand new second-hand from eBay. This one back here, TRW, so the brake booster, the roundy thing in there, where I put my hands where that pipe's going in, just what I've got my finger on there. Brand new TRW brake booster. Just a word of warning for them. When I put this one on, the brakes were seized on after about 3 minutes of driving. All it turned out to be the piston. There's no adjustability on these. People will tell you there is, but there genuinely isn't, because I know I've actually done it. No adjustability on that. So what you have to do in the manual, it says, you know, on the workshop manual for these, it says when you put your master cylinder on, which is also brand new because we had a problem with the master cylinder, you do up to 26 Newton meters. Literally don't. All you want to be doing is leaving about 3 threads on your thing. It's counterintuitive because it feels a bit loose, right? But then you put your brake on a couple of times, it firms everything up, and they are locked on solid. I've been running that now for like 6 to 8 months, and it's perfect. Hasn't worked loose, nothing wrong with this, no problems at all. So we've got what we did with it, say brand new master cylinder and reservoir, brand new brake booster, brand new second-hand ABS pump, and I think that was it. Oh yeah, and everything else that goes with it. So they were okay. They weren't replaced. This vacuum pipe was replaced. Goes all the way down the back and plugs in down there. Yeah, so if you get problems with brakes on these, they're locking on, you can't understand why. So put new calipers on it. And the new calipers really, you know, they're locking up and stuff like that. So wasn't happy with, sorry, what did I do first? New master cylinder, then the calipers were playing up, new calipers, and then it were locking on and think, what the hell's going on here? And it was basically, after we put the master cylinder on, that started showing the issue. So, yeah. We put the brake booster on, that was also a problem. And also we had issued codes for this. So there was a lot going on. We eventually sorted it, and when we reassembled it on and got it all sorted and it still was playing up, it came down to these nuts here. So some of these boosters have adjustability. And some of these, brake boosters have adjustability. This one didn't. So that's how you cure it. I did my research, and there was no information anywhere to tell you how to do it. Just worked it out, and that's perfect, apart from a brake leak. So that's the matter in hand. We'll go underneath and we'll show you what we're doing next. Hey, voila! It doesn't appear that we've got any more leaks out here, so we just put this pipe on, just pushed it onto the brake pipe. We've cut it there. Sorry, we've cut it off there using a little tool. And the tool is somewhere. I'll put it down somewhere. Usually, I'll show you that in a minute. So we cut it off with the tool, and then all this little bit of pipe coming in there, and I think it's probably something like a 5 mil internal diameter pipe, something like that. It's not very wide anyway. And then a 10 mil self tapper in there, 10 mil hex head self tapper. Tying it up, I use my little gun, you know, my little impact gun, just to whiz it in. And get it nice and tight, and that seemed to have done the job. So great. Also, if you want. Just get access to there, a little bit of wood chopped in there, so you get a pry bar, move the exhaust slightly over, pop that in there. Obviously to do that, it's as wise, we didn't do that one because we couldn't get it off without risk of damaging it. I think we did one round here somewhere. Just can't remember now. Yeah, we definitely pulled one off. There it is, look. Pull one off there, just to give us a bit of movement. So pull that out, bit of wood in there, you get your hand in, start messing on with the clips and that clip there, whatever it is, in the bum. So, right, we've got the thing stopped there. We've got to now work out how we're going to do it. So what we probably want to do is look at, see, there's a delve in there because we're going to put a joiner thingy in there and it'll take a bit of space up. So aim it for sort of around about there. We're looking at this, that's where that's going to go. It's going to be clear of that. We'll have to bend it around a bit usually once we fit it all up. So I reckon we're going to be somewhere around about there to cut, put an end on. Yeah. And then up here, we've got to work out how much bend we need and how much we don't. But luckily, see that old pipe there? We can shape it around that old pipe. Or we can actually put a bit of string around the old pipe. That'd be better. We're going to put a bit of string around the old pipe. Then we're going to measure the bit of string. That'll give us a length. Add a bit more for the fitting and that bit sticking out. So you can see that there. Oh, you can see the bloody... Right, we can lower it down again, I think, because this is rubbish. Here we are. So we've got this part here, so we can basically, you could bend it around, right, and model it there. And you go, yeah, that's how to do it, great, I got it. No, because now you've got a pain in the arse job of trying to flare out the end of the pipe, right? But no good. So what you've got to do is you've got to put a bit of string around that, maybe a bit of tape, get your string sort of there, line it up with that, yeah, and then measure your string. Then you sort of, from a similar angle, go how long the string was measured to about here, yeah, add a couple of mil maybe, just for cutting and messing about, then put your fitting on, then flare your end. Now you can bend it and get it on there. Now you can match it and get it on there, yeah? And what we'll do, we'll match everything up, we'll get it all connected, and then we'll take this out carefully because we don't want to disturb the other pipe, but that's how we're going to do it. And at all times then you've got basically a little template to work off, which means makes the job a bit easier maybe, yep. So that's what we're going to do next. This little tool I was on about earlier, you just put it on the pipe, you tighten it up, and then you turn it. And as you turn it, it's cutting through. And nice clean cut, and then you tighten it a bit more, and you turn it a bit more. And then basically, it starts cutting through. Well, you need two hands for it, so it's loose there now. Is it gone? No, not yet. Tighten it up a bit more, turn it a bit more. There you go. Nice clean end. Now what we're going to do, get that out of the way for a minute. Now we're going to put the flaring tool on. Well, sorry, we're going to put the end on. Yeah, turn that way. Come on, focus, you little sod. No, we're going to put, right, we're going to put the end on and then we'll flare it. You need a double flare on brake pipes on cars, not a single flare. So you basically use the tool, flare it once, turn it over, flare it again, yeah? And then you get a double flare. The reason you do that is because there's a lot of pressure in these, and a double flare is what's required to stop it leaking and give you, your integrity of your braking system and stuff. I've measured this. I didn't have a bit of string, used a bit of wire. I've given it a little bit extra. If it is too long, all we do is we cut it and we redo it, and until we're happy, But I'm hoping that's going to be there or thereabouts, because we've got to push it in a bit, like there, and it's got to be pushed in a bit, yeah. And then it's got to have the bend put on, so it should be pretty decent, yeah. And that's it. So before I start on the actual thing we're going to do, because it's a faff having to get it all through there and stuff, what I like to do is I like to practice on a piece of other pipe. Incoming. Hey. So whether it's got to zoom in or not, I'm not sure. So what we've done is we've got this pipe here, and you start with flattening it off with one side of the tool, and then you turn the tool the other way around and you put it in again. And what happens is you've got a flat bit, and then see this bit nicely chamfered in? That's basically pushed down in over and in a lip over it, so you've got a double flare there. See how that is? It's folded right over. You see, if you can closely see, there's a little line in there. See where the top's folded over? He says, oh God. Try and do it there, and then slowly come in I wonder it was like, yeah, you can see that, just that line in there. That's your double flare. So you've flared it and you've folded the lip in over itself. And that is what's required to give you a decent pressure joint on a brake pipe. Yeah, like that. God, sorry about the focusing. I do definitely need to get a proper camera. There you go. There it is. There it is. You see that little line in there? That's your double flare. So we're going to do the same to that after we put a fitting on. I can't stress that enough. If you forget to do it, you'll be cross with yourself. But yeah, that's a good one. They sometimes don't come out as good as that. Just depends. Yeah, to do it, I'm using this tool here. This is the tool. Great bit of kit. I've had it for ages. I think they're brilliant. Essentially what you're going to do is you put your pipe in that end. Yeah, you do it up hand tight. You put the stopper in like this. That gives you where your pipe needs to be. So you thread that all the way in. You put your pipe into it stops. You do these up hand tight. Yeah. Then you can do a little bit more of a tweak on it, the 10mm, to grip the pipe, and then you undo this one with a 16mm spanner. Now your pipe's in the right position. Then you use this fitting here, and it's pretty straightforward. This is OP1. Do OP1 first. In focus, come on, focus little fellow. OP1 first, yeah? So that's going to go in that way, in the tool, like that. Screw it in, 16mm again, spanner to do it up. Once you've got it in, take it out, turn it around, put this end in, gives you a double flare. So that one flattens it, so you got it flat, nice flat bit, self-explanatory really. And then this one goes in over and gives you, see that collar there, that sort of chamfer there, that pushes it in. And that's what folds it in on itself to give you a double flare. Easy peasy Japanesey, easy way now. That's how you do it. Right, so now the interesting bit. So this is going to come off with an 11mm flare spanner. Remember the name of the thing? Or brake pipe spanner. Call it a flare spanner. It's open there, so you can get it on the. It's open there, so you can get it on the brake pipe, like so. Neep, 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 like that, yeah. So if you get that loose enough, will it come off by hand? Usually. Oh yeah, there we go. And now we'll see what we got. Right, okay. So we've got that fit in there. Okay. We need another one then, don't we? So let's have a look. What have we got? Ah, we might have in here some. Oh, as if by magic. And are they the same? Yep, reckon so. That one's a bit rusty, so it looks a bit fatter. Shall we have a see if that's going to work? So stick them in there. Easiest way to do it. Because you don't want to faff on and get it all done and find it's the wrong size, even by a little bit. Oh, look. Oh, look at that. Lovely. So we like that. So remember, we put it on the line, like so. Thank you very much. Stay. And then we get the tool, as I described earlier. And we pop it on. Now, I won't be able to do this one-handed, definitely not. But the tool is going to go on here. We'll do up these here. Yeah. We'll remove that. Keep doing these up till it's nice and tight all the way across here. Yeah. And then we're going to put the end in and we're going to flare it. So it's already coming out. So I need two ends in a minute. Oh. So we've had the tool on. We'll create a double flare. You can see the shiny bit and the dull bit. So flatten it down first and we create the double flare, and that lips over there. See how that's going to go on now? And when it crushes on, it'll form a nice seal because you've got the shiny bit there. I can get it to zoom in. Come on. See if we can get it. No, we've got it focusing. Okay, no, it doesn't want to do it. So I apologise profusely, but yeah, you've got a shiny bit and you've got a dull bit. And that's how you get the double flare like I showed you on the back. Yeah, it's kind of clear there. And that's happy days. Right, so now, wherever the other piece of pipe's gone, there it is. We can shape this now according to that other piece of pipe. So let's get to that. So we've hand bent it, which is usually easier. So that's not a bad little job there. We've got the similar sort of things. We've matched it with this here. Similar sort of bend there. You won't get exact right angles when you do it by hand, but you will get, oh look, there's the old one. Haha, See how badly corroded that was? It's just give up the ghost. Haven't even cooked that. That's where it's leaking from. So we've got a similar bend there. Look, nice little job. You're looking straight down. This is where the clip's going to go. So we'll worry about that in a minute because we want to get this tightened up. Now, you've got that fitting on. You slide your pipe in till it stops. Then you put your fitting on. Then you do it by hand. Do not cross-thread that. Otherwise, everything you've just done is a waste of time, and you'll curse yourself. I've had that experience. It's horrible. Sometimes it happens, but if you're careful and you don't rush, then you can do it. So that there is an 11mm flare spanner on that fitting. So where are you, 11mm flare spanner? This is the trouble in this garage. I tend to put things down and oh, there it is. No idea where I've done with them. Right, on with the job. So all we're going to do, nice, this is the relaxing part. You know you got it in, you know it's nice and square, and you're just going to start, sorry, I'll get the camera on there, and you're just going to start doing it up. Yeah, and be careful. Look, see the pipes moving? So yeah, you're just going to start doing it up. And basically, I'm gonna have to stabilise that pipe in a minute. So what I'll do, rather than ruining it, I'll slack it off a bit. See how it's moving? I'll hold the pipe with the other hand. So I'll have to stop filming, unfortunately. And then I'll do it up. But you can have it about there because you want it where the clip's going to be. See in there? So that peg's sticking out. That peg's sticking out. Oh golly, can't bloody see in there. That peg's sticking out there. It's there or thereabouts where we want the pipe. So if we hold it there and we do it up, then it should be fine. We don't want to over tighten it, we don't want to under tighten it. So what we'll do, we tighten it to a point. Once we've got all assembled, we'll run some fluid through it and we'll see if it leaks. If it does, tighten up a little bit more, and away you go. And you should be cushy. So I've just flared this one. We've obviously put a female end on because we're joining this pipe to this one. So that's that double flared. This slides on here and then we'll guess this pipe. All we do is we bring it down, just bend it carefully down like that so we can actually get access. And we're going to put the other end on there and then we're going to join them up. They slightly go overlap, so we've got a little bit of wiggle room to mess on with. We don't want them too short because we don't want the threads being pulled when we're trying to do them. We want it nice and easy to put together. We can make that a sort of fluid tight joint then, you see. So we do that one, join them up, and that's it. And then all we've got to do is go up this end and bleed this caliper. Ta-da! And hopefully that goes all right and we don't end up with any horrible, snappy lead nipple scenarios going on. But you never know. Just never know. Each stage, you do each stage and you just deal with what faces you're after each stage, and that's basically what you can do. Incidentally, I did also put on a new drive shaft in July last year, or prop shaft, shall we say, because that one's knackered. Yes, we've got a bit of oil leak from the sump, so that'll be to do at some point. But yep, these old Land Rovers, or Range Rovers, they're yeah, they just need a bit of TLC. If you like spannering and you like spending money on your car, get a Range Rover. Seems to be the thing. And there's also something going on there that looks like a bit of maybe's grease getting out of that one. We did put a new one on here, look, it's coming away, look. Bit of grease there, look. We've got to tighten that up. Let's replace that one not long back because it was split and knackered. I'm sure it was that one. Or it might have been the inner actually. Thinking about it, might have been the inner. So we'll have to see if we can't tighten that up a bit. That's all it'll be, tighten it up a bit, get it sorted. Yep. It's a gift that keeps giving, literally. Or I keep giving to Land Rover. Financially, cost of parts, never mind. Nice to drive though, they are nice things. Typical bit of rust going on with this one. Surface rust, kinda, hasn't gone through yet. We'll try and save it if we can. Other than that, it'll be sills to do at some point. Weld some new sills in, maybe. Yeah, trouble is, that's what they do. They all do this. They all do this, unfortunately. Now what you can do about it, this is the foot plate. They always rot to death as well. And then you look in here. Oh, yes, I put a new air tank on as well. So that's a new one. Because we had issues with the suspension. We still have actually, it's still a bit harsh ride. So I think we've got a valve that's not working properly somewhere because we've got no leaks. Saying that way, the front keeps going down. And that'll probably be, see these little fellows here? We'll have to work out if that is it or not. Because there's a valve that does both front bits, and we suspect that could be it. Look at that. That's not so good, is it? Not so good. It seems to have come out of there. So there's something to look at. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Back to the job. Pipes, brakes, fittings. Let's get on with it. So we've got this all joined up now. So that there, we've got a new clip on there, and that's going in there. Nothing's touching. That's a little bit wiggly, but it's okay. Not going to see it. We join up here, tighten it up. We've got the pressure bleeder on at the minute. We've got it up to 18 psi, and we've got no leaks there. And then we've done this one as well. Pressure bleeder again, and we've got no leaks on there. So we're happy with that, and that's all in. New pipe, all manufactured. Obviously we've got to clean this up. We've got brake fluid everywhere from the old leak that was up there. This one here, actually, see if we can get on a bit better, is that I think that's going to be as much as it goes, because what's happened is the old pin it goes onto is basically rusted away a bit, but that'll be fine. Happy with that. So we can take all this rubbish out, get rid of that. Brake fluid on there. Now what we're going to do is push this back in, which is like that, and as good as new. There we go. Look at that. Straight back. So don't need to take it all off. You just bend it out of the way. Check it in there. We've got nothing touching anywhere. There's enough gap there to keep it off. So that's spot on. We've got a new clip up there. We can push this back over now. Good as new. Take out this. There you go. Exhaust back in position. Pop this back on. What we do, we get a mold grips and we just put it on there and clamp it on with a bit of silicone spray, and then we'll get on with just bleeding the nipple, getting all the air out the system. So bleed that nipple just there, get all the air out the system, and then job will be good. And to do that, these just pull off. Just get a tool in there and just pop that off and get access to that behind there, and that'll be it. So not bad little job. So just talk a little bit about finishing off the procedure. So we've pressure tested this. This is just residual, and sprayed it with what do you call it? Brake cleaner. So we check under here. We've had the pressure on it. Yeah, nothing. We're all right there, and here, nothing on there. So we're happy with that. That's not leaking. That's where we've joined it up there on the fitting. And then all the way through here, we're happy we've got nothing contacting, and then we've got no leaks coming off that fitting up there. We then bled it. That looks a bit wet still. It's been sprayed with brake cleaner. Bled it on this one. Bled that one for good measure. Bled this one here, and then bled this one here. While we're here, we found this clamp would work loose slightly, so we tightened that one up because it had a bit of grease, so that's what that is. And then what we did is, firstly, we put the brake pressure on without the engine running, and they had a good pedal. Then you've got to turn the engine on and do the same thing again, press the brake pedal to see that you've obviously not got any air in the master cylinder and everything works, and that all worked okay. We did go a little bit low on the fluid, but we didn't hit the minimum, so that was good. Once we're happy with that, we'll come back again and we check for leaks, which we've just done. There's no further leaks and everything's good. So that's it. Don't forget, pressure bleed it. 18 psi is what you want it on. If you've got an old master cylinder, maybe slightly less, maybe 12 to 15, just so you don't run risk of blowing out your master cylinder seals. But that one's a brand new one, so we could go up to 20, well, probably 20 if we wanted to, but 18 as a precaution. And that's it. So it's a nice little job. Looks pretty much OEM, as much as you can get it anyway, without without fitting a genuine brake line, and anyhow it would be difficult. You'd have to take everything off to fit a genuine one with all the different shapes and everything else. So this way you can fit yourself a brake line, you can route it through, yeah, you can clip it on, you can get it so it doesn't touch any of the bodywork all the way down, you know, a lot cheaper. Yes, it takes a little bit of time, but it's entirely doable. What you need for the tools wise, you need a 13mm spanner and then a 10mm spanner for the fitting. You need to be able to bend the line. You need a pipe flairer, you know, to make the ends and stuff, some few fittings and that. You need 11mm flare spanner to undo the fittings on the actual car and bleed the brakes, and you need a pressure bleeder to do that. So there's a few bits you'd need, and it's a messy job if I'm honest, but entirely doable. So that's it. How to fix your Land Rover, Range Rover Sport leaky brake pipe by making your own and fitting it all in and bleeding it. And obviously, if you enjoyed the video, if you want to like, comment and subscribe, that'd be great. It just helps me grow the channel and make more videos like this.